Now, earlier, one of your stories, you mentioned that you were doing ceramics.
Yeah, I've done them since back in the 70s.
Well, that's a long time doing ceramics.
That's actually how I wound up at the bluegrass festivals.
Yeah, that's what you mentioned, that you and your mom were there and you had a booth and he come up. Now, I know for a fact, because like I said, I've been around a few years, so I've heard the stories, but the time that you guys were together, and during your time, and you made several ceramic pieces specifically for Bill. And I know that you brought a couple with you. Let's see these ashtrays. These ashtrays, I remember when I saw the first one, you brought it over and we were photographing it for the book. And you were telling me about them, and those are just absolutely fascinating.
Well, this one was made from 84 to 85. It took me 2 years to finish it. It traveled through the bluegrass circuit for over a year.
Well, that's because you got signatures on it.
Yeah.
Now, you took it with you to the different
I would carry
gatherings?
it from one festival to the next, and I would take the ceramic glaze and just cover each name as it was done. Say if I had 3 names done at each festival, I would cover it, carry it home, and fire it.
Well, there you go. Now, you've got 2. Now, this one's the Bluegrass Country Stars.
I carried it around for the circuit.
All right, and then let's show the other one here, because the ashtray is actually the same. It's the signatures that make them different.
This one here is when I went to the Grand Ole Opry.
The Grand Ole Opry Stars.
Mr. Acuff was the first one to sign it and date it.
Well, there you go. Now, both of these are featured in your book.
Yeah.
And if people are wanting to know, the signatures and who all signed them, they can check out your book and
it's
they'll
all
be listed.
in the book.
But now you also did some mandolins for him too, didn't you?
I started the mandolins, yeah, and actually the mandolin, the whole thing, it came about a total accident. I was in a flea market in Tillman's Corner, and found the mandolin.
Oh, there you go.
And at first I said, I don't need that. It's just a little, ashtray. And I got home and I got to thinking about it. And I said, if I could get somebody to make me a mold.
Hey, there you go.
And get Bill to sign them. This is the first one I made, and this is in 84.
And so this is actually Bill's signature on there.
Yeah, this is Bill's signature. He signed both these in 84. And I had him to them in 2 different ways. Now, and when I moved to Nashville, he did a bunch of these. One time in particular, he came out in the shop. He actually hooked me up with a shop out there. You'll see the photos of the shop in the video. He actually came out to the shop and said, is there anything I can do? And I was actually making a fiddle too. And I put a music box in the back of it. And I said, yes, sir. All I had done to it was I had the back of it painted, the neck, the black hair, and this part here on them.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you can sign the mandolins for me? And he signed about 20 mandolins and fiddles. All I had done on the fiddles was this part here, that color there done on them.
Yeah, the wood grain.
Yeah, that's all I had done on them. And he sat there and signed them and was just tickled as plum punch. It just tickled him because he was getting to do something for me.
He was getting it. Well, I'm there again. I mean, on a farm, and it wasn't working hard. You do for each other.
I done so much for him, and I sewed a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reason behind the suit behind me. I started sewing quite a bit out there, and I was sewing and selling aprons. And one day in particular, I told him, I said, I need to go by Walmart and pick up some lace. I need to make some more aprons. And when they run it off the spool, Bill asked, could we have the spools? And lady said, sure. And when we got home, he says, can I help you put that back on the spools? I said, yes, sir. And he held the spools, and we put it all back on the spools. And he just thought that was so great because he could actually help me with that. And he actually helped me make Diana Christian a dress. He bought the sequin material for her, and he held the material for me while I cut it because sequin material don't lay still.
This is true. Anybody that sews knows
it
this.
Tried to crawl off that table for me, and he actually held it for me while I cut it out. But this suit, the reason behind me having it is, as you can tell, it's got major problems here on the neck.
Well, it's old. It's been around a while. And
He had it for a long time. Nobody's touched it but me since he had it. Even when I was noticing it these napkins here were in the pocket from Bill having it. It's not been cleaned or anything since he had it. It was actually, it's a pretty bad need to repair.
It's thread-borne there.
It was supposed to be took apart so we could use it as a pattern because it fit him so well.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to make him another one. But he got sick, and I didn't get a chance to get back to it, and I kind of forgot.
Uh-oh. Well, that tends to happen sometimes.
And it was up at the trailer, and, well, the trailer got moved to Mobile, and the suit was in it. So I have his suit. But, and that's his tie. It was packed up with my Christmas stuff when I moved back to Mobile.
Well, there you go.
So,
now, show us this beautiful painting here. You have a wonderful painting here of Mr. Bill Monroe. Now, when was this done?
I don't have a date on it. It's got that name on the back, and it was propped up against a file cabinet in that little bitty office he had on Dickerson Road. One day when he had me come by there to pick up some checks, he had me to go. I was the one who had to go do all the, the stuff, pick up the Kmart, pick up at the feed store.
Mm-hmm.
I had to do all that. And I saw it propped up on the floor over there by a file cabinet. All you could see of it was this little bitty top of the hat here. It was so covered in dust. I said, Bill, let me take that up to the trailer and clean it up. You can pick it up. You come by up there for dinner. He said, all right. Well, when he come by, I had it cleaned up and hanging on the wall. I said, you want to take it with you? He said, no, it looks okay hanging right there.
And there it stayed, huh?
And there it stayed. So when I bought a new trailer and brought the new trailer to Mobile.
Now, was this something that he had commissioned, or was this just a fan art? We don't know.
I don't think he even remembered.
Ah. Well,
all I know is that
whoever the artist was, they certainly did.
They did him great, and
they did justice on him. I have to say.
I thank him for it, and if I ever get a chance to, I'm going to get it framed.
Well, there we go.
I just never have got around to getting it done yet.
Now, Bill Monroe collected plates.
Yeah, he did.
Now, I remember, at one time, collecting estate plates. My grandmother, I remember my grandmother's spoon collection. And she would go all over and she would get spoons from whatever state her and Grandpa happened to be traveling through at the time. And his thing was plates.
Actually, you know what? It was my fault.
Uh-oh.
I gave him his first one from Alabama.
And you got it started.
I got it started. So I guess that's why he was trying to pay me back.
So, now, his plates he got here and there, and we've got some photographs of
he
the
got
wall.
all of them, but actually, luckily, he had two of one because I was washing them one day, and the plates. The bad thing about the plates are they have just a little sticker thing on the back of them to hold that on, and if you wash them, sometimes that cut gets a little bit turned loose.
Yeah.
And I hung it back up after washing it, and it fell.
Oh. Well, that's not
But
good.
luckily, he had two of the same one. Sometimes he'd forget how many of them he had, and he'd buy two of the same one. So I could just replace it, and we didn't have to go through a whole big thing. But
I know that the photograph doesn't show them all, but roughly, how many would you think he had?
He had all 50 states.
Did he now?
He had all 50 states, and he had a Switzerland, and
so even a few from overseas.
I know he had a Switzerland, and I think there was another one, but I can't remember what it was right off the top of my head.
Now, a collection, especially when you're dealing with states, we only have 50, so eventually you're going to get to the end of the collection.
Yeah.
Now, is that why he started collecting thimbles? Or how did he get that?
When he was at the end, when he was just about to the last of them, he was somewhere in one of the stations, the truck stops where they stopped, and they had the thimbles right next to the plates. And because I was doing the sewing, he thought about it. And he actually started my thimble collection before he finished his plate collection.
Well, there you go. Now,
He'd come in with about 6 of them, and just grinning like he had won a lottery. He says,
well,
"I got you something. I got you something. You just ain't gonna believe what we're gonna do." I says, "Okay." And he set this little paper bag down on the table. He says, "You need to come see." I says, "Yes, sir." And I come in there and sit down to see.
Now you got a beautiful shadow box over here.
He got me
that's
that
got
too.
your thimbles. Let's show them that. And you've got, let's see. Now you don't have the entire collection. So,
No.
So obviously you're missing a few there.
He didn't get to go out west during the whole time during that particular time. He only got to go basically straight up, this side of the United States. He got to go north, and then because I was coming back and forth, this way, because my son lived down here, and different people was coming down this way. We got this part of the country straightened out, but the whole west side of the United States is pretty much non-existent.
Well, there you go. And it tends to happen sometimes.
But he passed away before he could finish it.
Well, they are definite treasures,
I'm gonna
that's
get
for
a few
sure.
of them out and show them. They are some of them that's just out of this world. My mom got me one that's really pretty. It hadn't been long got me this one. It's actually a carousel.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, it actually spins.
Check that out. Isn't that just something?
And where did John go? Come here, John. And I'm a John F. Kennedy fanatic.
This is true. I think the only other person in the world you know more about than Bill Monroe would be JFK.
And I just got that one not too long ago. I just got that one not too long ago from the John F. Kennedy Museum.
Well, there you go.
And he thought a lot of John Kennedy.
So we know what to send you for Christmas. Now, don't we? We can just send you some thimbles.
Yeah, but like I said, most of the ones from this side of the United States are all took care of. But the other side, no, not so much. And this little chair here, come here. I didn't get you in the right hole. This little chair was another one of the things that he came in. And a little
that is
bag.
just adorable. Now I can see my grandma with one of them. I can see
that was
Irene
right
with
after
one
I
of them,
started with the sewing.
Now turn it around to the side so they can see. It's a rocking chair. Now it's a pin cushion.
It's a pin cushion rocking chair.
And I know.
Still got the little price tag on the back of it.
So he just sounds like he enjoyed the festivals more for shopping than he did for getting up there on stage.
I've even got a little thing at the house. I've got several things I didn't bring. We'd go to Cracker Barrel quite often, and I've got a ship he bought me at Cracker Barrel. And there was an egg, a little egg he bought me. It's got a lot of colors in it. It had like a dragon hatching out of it. He brought me that from California long before he started collecting the thimbles. But nearly every time he left the house, he'd bring me back something.
Well, there you go.